Hey everybody, what's up? Hot Sauce here. I'm following up from, yesterday I said that it might be a trap, this bounce, this movement off some of the lowers. A lot of these charts are looking similar. They're not exactly the same by any means, but in terms of the movements on their own specific levels. And one thing I noticed yesterday, markets closed today, by the way, but there was some kind of, I wouldn't call it a bounce, but just kind of, it stabilized. That move up kind of stabilized. Now on the S&P 500, I will say there is a resistance level. I think it's going to go up a little more. What's that number? I was looking at that number right around 6710. Okay, so we're below that right now. We're around 6,500, but I think it could go up to about 6710 before we see the 20% correction. Ladies and gentlemen, I do think we are going to see roughly a 20% correction in the markets. And if you measure the 52-week high, it's actually the all-time high on the S&P 500, down about 20%. That level is going to land at 55.30 to 55.88. Okay, right in that range right there. So that's the broader market space. NASDAQ has a similar thing going on, but when I looked at XRP today, it's still sitting pretty stable on that 132 to 133. It did dip down to 130, and I had mentioned I'd take some profits on the XRP a couple days ago, but that's here or there. We're paying attention to the longer term trend. We are in a downtrend on all markets right now. Okay, so just stand by. I wouldn't go in all the way. I mean, it is more of a time to buy right now than it was last year for sure. And I was actually happy. I'm not going to get into the details of it all right now, but I'm going to show you guys how to write covered calls on stocks. And I have done a couple videos on that, but I'm getting a little better, a little tighter, a little more detailed on it, because then there's a thing called the poor man's covered call, where it's a higher percentage gain, a little bit more risk, but you are not having to own 100 shares of the stock, yet you buy a call option. So it's a really fun thing. The reason I mention this because the call that I sold expired today, and it's an 18% gain in like 30 days. It's pretty crazy, man. If as an investor, as a trader, if you can start duplicating these, it's really a tremendous way to, I don't want to say beat the market, but a safe way to use the market to create revenue, to create income. So, okay, now, Donald Trump's speech wasn't overly bullish. I think we can kind of say that. The war tensions do seem to be cooling a little bit, but it's weird. There's some weird information on that whole thing today. One of our fighters did get shot down today. Both pilots ejected, and I just heard while I was driving down that they were recovered. Okay, so our pilots were recovered. That's some weird stuff right there. So oil could potentially be coming down. All it takes is one quick opening to let some tankers through for oil prices to go down. It's basic supply and demand on that thing. So the key to this message today, the S&P stock market is going to push up, and once it hits that resistance around 6710, it should continue that downward trend that we're seeing for the year here. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today. I am tracking these levels. I'm going to share when I see and the moves I make. Now, I do have a decision to make because I have this option that I'm a little bit positive on it. So I think I might sell. I'm gathering cash right now because we're moving down. So we want to raise cash the best we can because there's going to be some better buying opportunities soon. Not today, not tomorrow, but within that 6 months term right there. So everybody hang in there. Hey, it's Good Friday today. I want to throw out a happy Easter to everyone, whether or not you're a Christian, God believer, whatever denomination you are, or whatever. Just want to say happy Easter. And enjoy your weekend. Enjoy some of that spring sunshine that's starting to come out here right here. And I most importantly want to say thank you so much for my subscribers, and specifically the recent ones that have come in, man. I really appreciate you guys. I do spend some time. The information I'm giving to you, I do study this stuff, and I enjoy presenting it to you. So thanks for your time. Peace out, everybody. Hopsauce signing off. Enjoy your weekend.